Alright, so we've talked about headphones a lot on this channel. We've talked about different sounds, and I've always said that sound is completely subjective. I may like something that you don't like, and then vice versa. So when companies release headphones, they're releasing headphones that are basically wanting you to hear music a certain way, but everybody doesn't hear it the same way. So it's really interesting that a company like Nura has come out with a pair of headphones that tries something a little bit different to basically adjust the music to how you hear things. Today we're talking about the Nuraphones by Nura. Before we get into the technology of the headphones themselves, let's just check out the box that these things come in. This thing looks futuristic. It actually looks like an alien exoskeleton. I don't know. When I first saw the packaging, this really stood out. This makes it unique. So right off the bat, before you get into anything, you know you're in for something completely different. So when you open the box itself, you see that there's actually a case inside. Now, the case that's in here is actually one of the most brilliant cases I've ever seen. Now, I don't know about a lot of you, but I'm not a fan of the zipper cases all the time because one, the zipper can break. Sometimes it just makes a lot of noise, like if you're trying to listen in bed. This right here was made specifically for these headphones and no other headphones. The thing that holds it together is a magnet. Like simply just a magnet that sits there and holds it completely airtight and completely safe. Nothing is going to happen to your headphones in this case. Inside of that, you have the headphones themselves, and then you also have this little pouch that is also magnetized into the case as well, where you can keep your cables. All right, so first off, these are wireless headphones. These do retail for $400. So right off the bat, we're talking about an expensive pair of headphones. But by the end of the video, I think you'll realize where your money's going and what you're getting for that. So let's talk about the cables. The cables really, to me, is the only thing that kind of baffled me about these that I don't really understand. It comes with they're proprietary cables that plug into the headphones themselves. Now, it comes with the one that actually charges it. But if you want the cable to use on your specific device, whether it be the lightning cable, the USB-C, the micro USB, like any of those, you have to buy those separately. And now each cable is $20 with the exception of course, the Apple cable, the lightning cable being $40. Now it is actually the only cable that has your controls as far as your play, pause, volume up and down. But $40 for a cable is a little crazy. But the fact that these are Bluetooth, you really don't need a cable. In fact, I don't ever see a need to use a cable unless I want to plug these into my PC and do anyway. You don't have to have the cable. So let's quickly talk about the technology that's in these headphones, like what makes them different. Now, the way that they're engineered is definitely different the first time you see them because it's like a silicone ear cup that inside is also an in-ear headphone. So like you're getting over the ear and in-ear all at the same time. There's no power button on these. They simply just turn on whenever you put them on, which to me is brilliant. You don't have to worry about whether you turn them off. They're not going to come on unless they're on your head. Now, the only thing that might be concerning about that later is there's obviously some sort of sensor that when it's on your head, it knows to turn on. So if anything kind of goes wrong with that later, you're never going to be able to turn these on. So the technology, first thing you want to do, the first thing it says to do inside the case is download the app. The app is like the brains behind all of this because what that does is it allows you to set up your own profile. Now, the profile is where it gets interesting. What it does is it's sending, once you put these on, it's sending these tones into your ear. Now, what your ear is doing and what you may not know is whenever there's a sound going into your ear kind of reacts to sounds that it likes and sounds that it doesn't, whether it likes certain bass tones and so what it's doing is your eardrums are actually channeling sound back to the headphones, which the headphones are picking up that, okay, they like this tone and they don't like this tone, and what it does within that 60 seconds is it compiles basically an EQ that's set for you. It basically knows you like these certain sounds a certain way, and it balances all out the way that you like to hear music. Now, it's not completely controlling everything because even after you have your EQ, you can listen to it in a flat way, which I'm telling you, you don't want to do. But once you listen to it with your sound profile, it sounds absolutely incredible. Now, I don't want to get into sound yet because I do need to talk about the headphones themselves. As you can see, build quality wise, these things have some weight. They're really sturdy. You can tell it's pretty premium, like all around. The one thing I don't like, and I've always said this, is the cables on the inside. If something clips this or pulls this, yanks it out, your headphones aren't gonna work, and that's a lot of money that is down the drain. Now, the frame that's around here is really sturdy. It's a silicone base, same material that's on the ear cup is also what's on the headband. But again, you would think these would weigh a lot and put a lot of weight on, but once they're on, to me anyway, I don't even know that they're on. And in fact, if you're used to wearing in-ear headphones, the earbuds that are inside, you probably won't even notice they're in there. It's a weird sensation at first, but I quickly got used to it and I was able to wear these things for hours. As far as branding goes, it just simply says Nura on the side. It says Nuraphone on the padding underneath the headband. And then the Nura logo right here on the side. Now on the side, although it doesn't look like it, these are actually touch responsive buttons, which you can program within the app to be able to skip the track forward, pause the song, answer calls, and anything like that. Now, speaking of answering calls, there are 6 microphones in this headphone. So as far as clarity and answering calls, this is about as clear as it gets. It really is just like talking into your phone itself. Now, one thing I definitely want to point out that I noticed other reviewers haven't, they also went the extra mile to make these even more comfortable than most headphones. They actually have technology that is pushing cool air into your headphones, like pulling it from without and pushing the heat that gets trapped inside out the top. So basically, these don't get hot. They don't get sweaty, obviously, unless you're working out, which there's no way around that. But I'm telling you, once you put them on, once you get used to the feeling of having the in-ear bud and the over-the-ear, it basically isolates everything around you. I don't hear anything else going on around me, and it honestly keeps music from coming out. Like, nobody, no matter what volume level, can hear what you're listening to. This is true isolation at its best. So, how do these things sound? What kind of adjustments can you make? It honestly is impossible for me to review these. I can review these based on what I heard, because obviously, and I've tried this, anybody else that goes through the setup, their sound signature is completely different and it doesn't sound anything like mine, and it's honestly not appealing to me compared to what my setting was. So my adjustment and the way that it set up mine was perfect. It really, really nailed it. And I went through it again to make sure it wasn't some gimmick, which I honestly thought this whole thing was gonna be gimmicky, and it just wasn't. It picked up the same pattern twice. I got the same sound signature twice, and when listening to somebody else's sounded awful. So it really does show you that when I review something and I say something's great, somebody in the comments said, well, I thought these sounded awful. Everybody hears something completely different. It also lets you go into immersion mode. So after you get your EQ set, you can go and you can put it, has a slider that goes from flat all the way to front row of a concert. Now, if you've been to a concert in your front row, speakers you can feel, like vibration you can feel, like it's insane. You can get that out of these by simply sliding the slider all the way to front row, which to me was way, way, way too much bass. Honestly, felt like halfway, maybe a little past halfway was perfect. Now, what that did was it added vibration into the headphone, which if you've experienced with headphones like the Crushers and the Pulse Elite that Sony's released, it's a whole other element to listening to music. Now, you don't have to do that through these. Honestly, listening to it, pulling the bass slider all the way back, they sound incredible, but giving that little extra element of oomph and bass, it was amazing. And honestly, these are one of the most fun headphones to listen to. And honestly, again, it's hard for me to review these because your sound signature could sound completely different. But as far as space in the sound, it really felt so open. And there's so much space in the sound that it's easy to pick apart where everything's coming from. As far as mids were really up front. I could really hear vocals extremely clear. That's male or female vocals. And as far as treble, like the highs, no matter if I slid the bass slider all the way up to front row and that impact's there, it never messed with the highs. And as far as battery life goes, you get about 20 hours which is crazy. The one thing I do want to note about the material is it does pick up everything. The silicone picks up kind of like fingerprints, but with it being silicone, just wipe it right off. And as far as ear tips, there's only one size, and it is very, very flexible, and it's spring-loaded behind this, so no matter what your ear size is, it will adjust, and it will fit. It doesn't have to be lodged inside. I found that, like, no matter what, no matter which way I was laying, these things were able to fit the way that I needed them to. So yeah, for $400, it's really a steep investment. But with the technology that's in it, the engineering that's behind it, because it really is a brilliant pair of headphones, like design-wise, everything that you're getting out of it, between the app and the way that it adjusts to your sound, it really does find the perfect balance for you. That is my review of the Nuraphone headphones by Nura. It's amazing. In technology, I'm a huge fan of technology, and it is hard to find something that stands out amongst everything else. These are unique, they sound unique, you can customize the bass the way that you want to. You want a pair of headphones that look different, you want a case that just basically is one of the best cases I've ever seen. Obviously, that's not a reason to buy a pair of headphones, but it is an amazing accessory, the fact that it's there. These are the ones you want to try. These are the ones you should experience, because honestly, that's what it is. It really is a listening experience that I can't say enough about. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you guys so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, guys, make sure to stay tuned for more.